Iran is the central engine of terror in the modern world. They are a death cult, and all of them have said on both sides of the aisle, if it's not stopped, the day will come when we're going to face a nuclear-armed Iran. I'm going to be the doctor that you don't want to hear from today. I'm sorry. Islamism, this revolutionary, apocalyptic ideology that is behind the Iranian regime, is cancer. Islamism is cancer.
2 terrorist attacks in one day. One at the Old Dominion University and the other one at Beth Israel in West Bloomfield. What do they both have in common? Let's listen to Glenn Beck, and he will tell us exactly what they both have in common, unfortunately.
Please hear me, America. Please hear me on this. The war in Iran did not begin yesterday. Yesterday was a pivot point, and I'll explain in a minute, but it didn't begin, with Donald Trump declaring war, didn't with the latest missile strike or the intelligence briefings or the latest headline scrolling across your phone. That's not when it started. This war began in 1979 when the Shah fell and the Marxist students gathered with the Islamists. They worked together to destabilize Iran and overthrow the country of Iran. When the diplomats were blindfolded from America and marched through the gates of the embassy, and they held them there for 444 days. That's when this started. From that moment forward, Iran declared something really simple, and they've been shouting it and chanting it in their streets since 1979. Death to America. They chanted it. And every president, from Reagan to Bush to Clinton, all of them, even those who were just candidates, including Hillary Clinton and Al Gore, have all said the same thing. Iran is the central engine of terror in the modern world. They are a death cult, and all of them have said on both sides of the aisle, if it's not stopped, the day will come when we're going to face a nuclear-armed Iran. The diagnosis has been delivered by doctor after doctor that the American people have hired, and it's the same thing. And I think those doctors, those presidents, have all, in their own way, been a little bit cowardice. And maybe they made the decision. I'm not going to say that they were cowards. They didn't have the guts to pull the trigger because they thought there were other options on the table. And the American people said, well, maybe it's not that serious. Okay. I'm going to be the doctor that you don't want to hear from today. I'm sorry. Islamism, this revolutionary, apocalyptic ideology that is behind the Iranian regime, is cancer. Islamism is cancer. And just like cancer, at first you may not notice it. You can dismiss the early symptoms. You can tell yourself that you're just tired or, maybe that lump was there before. Whatever it is, you tend to go into denial. Maybe you even begin to blame your own habits. Maybe I caused this. I've smoked my whole life. I didn't eat right. I'm just probably overreacting. All of these things, that's normal to happen. But cancer does not care about your denial. In fact, it's its favorite environment to grow in. While you're denying it, it continues to grow, and it grows while you argue whether or not it even exists. And it spreads as you debate with yourself whose fault is it. It feeds while you reassure yourself that everything is still basically normal. All the while, it's doing one thing. It is eating the healthy parts of your body. It is taking it cell by cell, slowly, quietly, patiently. It is just eating. And one day, you go to the doctor, and the doctor looks at the scan and says something that you never, ever want to hear. It's no longer isolated. It's everywhere. At that point, you have a choice to make. And that's the pivot point. That's where we are right now. It is everywhere. And so now your options change. Okay, the treatment has to change. It's no longer a simple surgery that you could have had a few years ago. It's something much, much harsher. It becomes radical because the cancer has become radical. So now you need chemotherapy and radiation and radical invasive surgery. None of these are good. None of these are going to make you feel good, but it's designed to purge the body of something that is eating you from the inside out. And each of the treatments are brutal, but let me just concentrate on one. Let me just talk to you about chemo. Let me liken chemo to what we're facing right now, this war and the effects of it, okay? So war is the chemo that we're putting through. The hair falling out is the terror attacks that you're seeing. Now, you have a choice. Are we going to treat this or not? Are we just going to deny that it was really a problem? But really, the choice is this. Do you want to live or not? Because when the cancer becomes this bad, that is the choice. Do you want to live, or do you want to just live your remaining days feeling good? But they're going to be short days. Chemo will weaken you, and it is. It will weaken us. It will make you sick. We'll have protests in the streets. We'll be arguing with each other. We will deplete our armed forces. It's going to make us weaker. We will lose hair, all kinds of effects that we really don't want. We'll be vomiting all the time. Those things are the terror attacks that are happening, and you will feel worse during the treatment. And then some people will say, which in a very narrow sense is absolutely true, you know what? We were better off before the chemo started. That's absolutely true. You were, kind of. You were dying, but you were feeling better. But if you wouldn't have done anything, you were dead. In a very short period of time, you'd be dead. Now, it doesn't matter, and it may even piss the patient off when the doctor like I come in and tell the truth. But here's the truth. None of this had to happen. We didn't have to do this. I've been on the air for 50 years. So I've been on the air. In fact, I was on the air a couple of years before we went before they took our hostages in Iran. I've been talking about Iran forever. And if we would have done the things at the time we should have, none of this would have happened. But now we have no good options left. There's nothing. It's death or this. And that's where we are. And this confrontation is not a sudden war, okay? It's 47 years of ignored warnings, finally reaching the stage where the disease can no longer be contained with polite diplomacy and hopeful secrets. And so the side effects are ugly. There will be retaliation. There will be terror. There will be more terror attempts and more terror. There will be economic shocks. Okay? But we weren't better than we were before we started the treatment. We were just in denial, and the effects of it being in every organ of our body was just starting to show signs of a problem. But if you waited and continued to do nothing, it would kill us for sure. Now, what would have happened if Ronald Reagan, one of my heroes, would have gone in and said, Beirut, nothing, and punished them at that point? He didn't. He said, we can negotiate. We can do all kinds of things. The tumor was small. We'll try other things. We chose to delay. We chose negotiations for the last 47 years without consequence. We chose sanctions without enforcement. We chose to hope that cancer just might stop growing. It would choose to stop growing. Cancer never makes that decision because cancer, to live, must feed on something. And so it's spread through Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis, through militias in Iraq and Syria, now in our universities, now in our media. It's infected every organization, our government, it's in our neighborhoods, it's in many of American mosques. It's here, gang. And it is the most radical form of cancer, and the body of Western civilization has a long history of fighting this kind of cancer. And so we have a long history of knowing what happens if it goes untreated. So yes, what comes next is going to make you vomit. It's going to make your hair fall out. It's going to make you feel like crap. It's going to be painful. And here's the thing you really don't want to hear. And because we waited so long, we may die anyway. But if the body has a chance of survival, it must be cut out completely. And every cell. Well, you know, when the surgeons go in for surgery like this, When they think they're finished, they leave the body open and they say, send everything out and let's look at the margins. And then they get it back. Did they cut everything? Because if there's one cell of the cancer left behind, it grows back and it grows stronger, more aggressive, and more determined. And you're in the same situation. This is where we're at now, America. This is it. This is what history is demanding of Western civilization right now. Not denial, not delay, not pretending the diagnosis is wrong or never came, not pretending that cancer maybe isn't so bad. Doctors have warned us for 40 years. The patient is finally open on the operating table, and like it or not, the time for debate is over. Here's my change. I have told you this is, I'm not trying to sway you, and I'm still not trying to sway you, but I have not been clear where I stood. Today, after the terror attacks yesterday, I'm very clear. I'm very clear. The body is open. The surgery has begun. Whether you were for the surgery or against the surgery, the body is on the table and the surgeons have their hands and their scalpels in and they are cutting the cancer out. This isn't exploratory surgery. Back when I was growing up, before we had CAT scans and everything else, you had exploratory surgery where they just cut somebody open. We think he might have cancer. Cut them open. The worst thing that would happen is the surgery would be very short and the doctor would come out and say, we just sewed him back up. It's too far gone. Okay? We're already in the surgery. We know exactly how bad this cancer is. We're not exploring to see how bad. We know how bad it is. And this might sound like a justification for war, but it is not. It is a justification for getting all of the margins. You already have the body open. So it doesn't matter. Do you think it gets better or worse if we now sew the body back up? Do you think they learn the lesson of, we better not screw with America? Or do they learn the lesson, you just hit them and they're such cowards, they're so weak, they will never come for us?
Thank you so much, Mr. Glenn Beck. Yes, you have been on the air for over 50 years. The way you have explained it so beautifully and so eloquently, one cannot ignore the facts of what we are dealing with right now. It was so horrible to see two terrorist attacks in one day. What do they both have in common? They both are Muslim. They both have the name, wait for it, Muhammad. Here, both instances, they were ISIS inspired by the one at the university who came in and shot and killed those three until the others came up and neutralized him. These were cadets who were just starting out. Innocent people died for no reason whatsoever, got injured. The Beth Israel attack in West Bloomfield, Michigan is just too up close and personal to me. I survived a mass shooting on April 27, 2019, at our synagogue, the one that my wife and I and our community built in Chabad of Poway, California, a northern suburb of San Diego, where a 19-year-old anti-Semite breached our lobby with a blazing AR-15 rifle, shot and killed Lorilyn Gilbert Kay right in front of my eyes as I was talking with her. Children were playing right behind me. I was standing in the lobby when I saw Mrs. Lorilyn Gilbert Kay fall to her death. The shooter, the terrorist, lifted his rifle to kill me, and he got off 4 bullets as I ran to grab the children to safety. The bullets came flying right at me. These 2 fingers were shot, but the rest of me survived. I was able to escape the near-death experience, and bring all the children to safety. After bringing the children to safety, I came back up to the line of fire to learn that some very brave men has chased this 19-year-old white supremacist terrorist out the door. He fled in his car. A border patrol agent tried to neutralize him unsuccessfully. Others tried throwing rocks at his car to stop him, but he got away. But he eventually surrendered a couple miles later. I am still suffering till today, not only from the physical pain, the emotional anguish, the spiritual challenges that comes with having a near-death experience. And I have learned that there's nothing I could have done to prevent what happened. But I could change how I react. What happened at Temple Beth Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan, pierced my heart. Here is a anti-Semite, a Muslim who ran his truck fully laden with $2,000 worth of fireworks into a preschool where there was about 140 children present. He came with a loaded rifle to kill as many as he can. Miraculously, God's mercy prevented him from carrying out the mass shooting. Our synagogue was the second mass shooting synagogue event in all United States history. The first one happened exactly to the day 6 months at Tree of Life in Pittsburgh. We were the second one. Now, this car ramming and almost terrorist mass shooting happened at Beth Israel. Through the bravery of the local security guards, they prevented this mass shooting from happening. The mass shooter at the university shouted out, Allah, Allahu Akbar. The terrorist, both named Muhammad, at Beth Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan, is from Lebanon. He's a naturalized citizen. He came with all their intentions to kill as many Jewish people as possible. Mr. Bibi Netanyahu, our prime minister, said it very clearly right after the October 7 war in 2023. He said the war that we're fighting is not a war just for Israel and the Jewish existence, but it's for the world. We are facing an enemy who wants to annihilate us. Us meaning not just the Jewish people. Today it's the Jews, tomorrow it's the Christians. Today it's already the Christians. How many Muslims have slaughtered the Christian villages in the Congo and in other areas of the world? They are on a crusade. They want to annihilate and kill every Jew and Christian alike who doesn't believe in their theological belief system. As Mr. Glenn Beck put it so clearly and so logically, in a way that we can all understand it. Sadly, every single one of us knows someone who has been stricken with a horrible cancer disease. And some of us know people who would do everything possible to save themselves to have another day of life. Whether that means going through surgery or going through chemotherapy, dealing with all the side effects, but it's worth it to be able to have another day of life. As Mr. Glenn Beck said, we have a malignant tumor spreading rapidly throughout the human race. the human body, which is the radical jihadist Islamists. They are literally contaminating and spreading this malignancy to every part of humanity. Globalize the intifada is the spread of this cancer throughout the world. We just saw what happened in Bondi Beach, Sydney, Australia, the other side of the world. This isn't the Middle East. This is Sydney, Australia. Bondi Beach, December 17, the first day of Hanukkah 2025, December 14, 2025. An innocent group of Jewish refugees came together at Bondi Beach to celebrate Hanukkah. My brother-in-law has been running this program for over 30 years. My great-nephew, Rabbi Eli Schlenger, 41 years old, married with 5 children, the baby just 2 months old, was organizing the event when a father and son Muslim terrorists came, perched on the bridge nearby, the walking to pedestrian bridge, and began shooting as many people as possible. They killed 15 people, including my 41-year-old great-nephew, Rabbi Eli Schlenger. May his soul rest in peace. I have visited Sydney twice since the massacre. I came there the first week right after the massacre, right after Hanukkah. I got on the first plane, spent 10 days here with them, helping them with the grief, with the loss. It is such a heartbreaker to see his widow and 5 children, my nephew and great nephews and nieces. To see the Sydney community being so shattered by this tragedy. And then I came again to Sydney, Australia, to follow up a visit. I was praying at a synagogue where my son is the lead rabbi. A woman comes over to me and she says, I understand that you are a survivor of a terrorist attack. And she's seen my hand and knows my story. She tells me that she was at Bondi Beach. She was there with her 2 grandchildren and her husband and many other family members. Right next to her was Rabbi Yaakov Levitan. As the shooting began, she saw the terrorist going around and just picking on people, whoever looked religious, to kill them first. He shot Rabbi Yaakov Levitan. He fell into her hands. She held him, talking to him, trying to keep him conscious as his soul left his body. She says, Rabbi, the trauma of being there with someone who gets shot. Her husband told me that he saw another person get shot in the head point blank. He said it reminded him as watching a movie at JFK, Kennedy got shot. This just happened just a few months ago. This was all sponsored, inspired by Iran. That is the common thread over here. They are looking to globalize the intifada. It's not just from the river to the sea. This is a global war. This is a war that the world is now facing that we can no longer deny. As Beck said, do you want to die now or later? Or do we have a chance to get rid of the killer so that we can continue on living? As he put it so plainly, that we have the patient on the table. It's not an exploratory surgery. We are in the enemy right now. We can end this. The world needs to stand beside us. All the Western allies need to come together and do whatever we can to help the United States, America, and Israel win this war. The war that has begun 47 years ago. The war that we did not begin. The war that was begun by the radical Islamic Iranian regime, who's doing everything it can to disrupt humanity and to kill every Jew and Christian alive. We cannot and shall not allow history to repeat itself again as the days of the Inquisition and the Crusaders. We are living in the 21st century. We are not going to be pulled back to the 6th, 7th century, but we're going to stand tall and strong. And together we'll be able to see the end of this. Thank you, Mr. Glenn Beck, for your amazing presentation and for your 50 years of being on the radio and talking to us. God bless you. God bless you. God loves you.